Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest
Down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest, the best weekly Stardom podcast anywhere in the world. I messed up the intro again, and I am, as always, Alex, and I'm joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum. I am Dylan Murray, and welcome to Stardom Quest Gold, the best Stardom and Marigold podcast anywhere in the world. I think I already said my name, so I fucked it up too. So don't feel too bad. Yeah, how you doing, Alex?
Yeah, it's been interesting week for wrestling, so I
It
was on the
always
buzz a
feels
little bit.
strange when we record like one day off,
hmm
or 2 days off in this case, because it feels like I haven't recorded with you in a lifetime, even though it's been like 9 days instead of 7. Um, but feels like there's like so much to dive into, but
Yeah,
it's pretty much
that
the
that
same as
that
there
can
always
happen.
is.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
Well, not the same as there, but you know what I mean, like the same
Yeah,
week
kind
cycle,
of. Yeah, but
effectively.
it was a very eventful break, I guess.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I promised everybody Tuesday, and it was going to be me and Scott, but then I couldn't do Tuesday, so I shot myself in the foot with that one. So we're here now. I hope everything
Mm.
has been announced because if they announce anything new after today, we are
It's
officially
ridiculous.
cursed. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
are officially
ridiculous. Like
cursed.
there's
Um,
no, they're gonna announce that altogether is a mask versus hair match or something stupid between Kid and
yeah,
Azumi, and it's gonna be like, okay, I guess. Wait until two
makes
days
sense.
early.
Why not? Um, but yeah, I think that's it. Head on over to the Five Star Network YouTube channel as well as fivestarnetwork.co for all of the latest articles and podcasts from the wonderful world of pro wrestling. Don't know if there's much happening on the YouTube. I don't know if No Limit is doing anything or if
No Limit
Xavier
will
has any
be
ideas.
later this month. We are going to have Pedro on.
Oh, nice.
And we're going to be talking about some late era JWP. So that'll be fun. And obviously, I will also be talking about Britt Baker, unfortunately, because I lost uh, that forfeit earlier this month. So, or last month. So that's lovely. Um, yeah, no, I mean, see, the thing is that we record on like Discord, in our server and whatnot. When I record with Xavier, we use a different software, which
hmm
historically has never worked on the computer I use in Chicago, which I'm currently in Chicago. So we just like can't record No Limit when I'm out here, uh, just because it's like we tried and it just all of it got corrupted and we wasted like an hour and a half and it just wasn't fun.
Yeah.
So always have to wait when I'm out here in between recording of No Limit. Uh, but I'm only out here for a few days this time. I'll be back by the next time me and you record. So yeah,
Wow. Okay. It's a
yeah,
pretty short trip.
yeah. Just a week. I'm here
Okay.
for a friend's big event. They have a summer Olympics amongst
Okay.
like their family run. It's like a whole thing. And yeah, I'm coming out to come out and
That
play
is that is
by the
so
Osprey.
American. I cannot imagine. I'm sorry.
It
This is
is.
peak
I mean, they're
America.
Mexican, but it is. Um,
That is even more American. Like that is
yeah,
Americana right there.
very.
All right.
But like I said, I'm coming out to come out and play, which is Miyazaki's theme song and Raven's theme song and other people's theme song. So that'll be fun. They have entrance music for the Olympics. Apparently, that's something we're doing. So that'll be fun.
What an incredible. s- Yeah. Okay. Well, um, I guess. Listen, there's only one place to start with this week. Um, at the end of Marigold's Cork and Hall show, Rossi was like, "Hey, listen, Utami. I know you're tired, but I have your opponent for Sumo Hall figured out. Can everybody look at the screen?" And on screen pops Io Shirai.
Hmm.
And there are at least two people in that crowd who just squealed for like 5 minutes,
It
and
was
I relate to
hilarious.
them heavily. Like it
Tommy
wasn't
wanted to.
just she did it wasn't just one big gasp. It was like a bunch of separate like reactions to this huge news. It was very fun. Um, but yeah, we have our once in a lifetime match. Io Shirai and Utami Hayashishita at Sumo Hall is it's pretty crazy.
Queen of Queens.
Well, no, Queen of Queen. There is no S. They
I
forgot it. Couldn't
yeah,
pay. They couldn't afford it.
I couldn't afford this.
Mhm.
That's crazy. It sounds like Bushiroad. I don't know. Um, but maybe TKO. I don't know. It sounds like most wrestling companies actually, except for Cyberfight and Marigold, who isn't in Cyberfight, but they're homies. Yeah, Io Shirai. It's kind of crazy, right? Like,
Mhm.
this is something that like we've heard whispers about, obviously, for months. And it was always like, okay, if they're going to have Io on the show, on the Ryogoku show, then it has to be with Utami, right? Like, if you're not doing Utami and Io like interacting in some way, then you're wasting this opportunity. Um, and obviously Utami talked about a lot in a lot of interviews. Obviously with Scott, her most recent interview over there, she talked about how she still really wants to wrestle Io, and so it felt like, and we talked about it last week. It felt like if it was going to happen, it was going to happen in Ryogoku, and we felt like if it was going to happen in Ryogoku, it was going to happen. It was going to get announced on this Korakuen show. But
Mhm.
I still don't know. I mean, we text each other before, like, I went to bed, and I think before we just whatever. That's like, if there's just no trace of Io, what are we like? What's gonna happen? Because it's like it feels like it should happen, but also is it? Like, I don't know. Like, like it's just like, what are we like? What? And then it just happened, and I was stoked about it, obviously, because Io's like the only wrestler I still watch in WWE. It's like it's
Mhm.
her and like New Day and Gunther, pretty much. Those are the only people that I go on my way to watch ever. Uh, and she's still great, and this match is going to be great. And I think it's, you know, we can probably get into like the schematics of it or semantics of it. I talked to my friend yesterday. I kept saying schematics, and they're like, "That's not a word," apparently. So
I
we
always
can get
thought
into
you
the
were just
semantics of
weirdly
it.
saying schematics, because that sounds kind of like
Yeah,
what you're going
schematics is
for.
a word and semantics is a word.
Yeah,
They are
and you
not the
just like
same word, but
mixed
I
them.
combined them.
Okay,
Um,
because
I'm a
I kind
vocab
of thought
guy.
you were going for a different one, but that's okay.
I might be.
Um,
I don't.
okay, all right. Well, yeah, I mean the thing with EO is she is EO. Um, and I remember when there was talk of her coming back full time, we were both very hesitant because Rossi with a full time EO would be, if you thought Julia's push was a lot, you haven't seen anything. But for a one-off, I mean, there's nothing really better you can do than the Io Shirai. You've got Kyrie back, and Kyrie's one went as it did. She didn't draw a lot. She kind of didn't really have the same mojo as before she left. But with Io, she's this. She's been a champion in WWE. She had this big match at WrestleMania. She was an award winner while she was in Japan. She is just levels above, and so getting her is like the biggest get that Marigold could have done, and I think there's no better wrestler to put her against than Utami. That lineage of Queen's Quest is so easy to follow, and it's such a big easy test for Utami to do that it's perfect.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's funny. I always go back to this because it always pops me a little bit. I feel like with this, it reminds me of a old War Games promo, um, where Shayna Baszler was the leader of the team, and she was like, explaining why all of her teammates are like super cool,
I love that one. Yeah.
and then she just goes, "We've got freaking Io Shirai, bro." Like, no other explanation. Just like, you see her? That
Mhm.
that's enough. That's enough. And like that's how I feel Marigold kind of came out of this weekend swing. And it's like, what you mean? We got Io Shirai. Like, I don't
Yeah.
I don't know what else you're like.
The
We're
reaction
we're
said it
good.
all. I mean, Karkin was
Yeah.
loud, and it wasn't full. There was definitely a couple hundred empty seats, and it still was loud. Like these people were mind blown. So it really still is that kind of allure of Io to that fan base. Like she still is the golden child, basically. Um, and I mean, you could hear it in the reactions. Like that crowd at Sumo Hall is going to go nuts for that match and for her entrance. Um, yeah, this is kind of stuff that you just want in wrestling. Like this is just kind of once in a lifetime stuff that we're getting more and more often from Joshi at the moment, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Sunny said that this has been in the works for a long time, as we kind of knew to some degree. We assumed, with it felt like everything that like Rossi would say in interviews was like, you know, talking around the fact that he's definitely getting Io Shirai for a match.
Mhm.
Um, so like it's been obviously in the works for a long time, but even so, and you have to imagine Utami knew this if everybody on
Mm,
the internet had an idea. Maybe she didn't know that was like finalized, but like you have to imagine that she was like, that might be where I'm heading. Um, she still like broke down crying. She was still like overtaken by this moment. Um, and I thought it was a beautiful moment. We'll talk about the match and the moment a little bit more when we get into like the show review, because I think that everything to do with Utami and Nanae and the post match I really loved, and I really want to commend both of them for that closing of the show. But yeah, it really did feel like a surreal moment. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Um, Beyond the uh the internet reaction, which was always going to be what it was. Um, on both sides of the AEW WWE coin. It was always going to kind of turn out, but it's just I don't know. It's hard to put into words how insane this is. I mean, we both got in. You got into Stardom around the same time as I did. Did you get to see much EO like in the moment? Because I know,
No, no, she was gone.
yeah, because she had just left. Like I got into Stardom when Utami debuted. Like that was the show that I first started watching. It just so happened Utami debuted. So I kind of missed out on watching EO in the moment, in the same way that Utami missed out on wrestling EO in the moment. So it will be fascinating to see EO wrestle in Japan like live or like just like in the moment, um, against a Joshi wrestler who is you know similar to Io in a lot of ways in that she's like so good at what she does. Um, it just feels like a I keep saying it, it feels like a surreal match to run.
There also
Um,
is, to
yeah.
a degree, still something about WWE wrestlers working outside there that can be so electric.
Mm.
Because I was there when WWE did all the UK stuff, and I remember like Finn Balor showing up at an OTT show. I remember being at Super Strong Style 16 when they had Chris Hero in it, and I think they had signed Kyle O'Reilly and they'd let him go back for it as well. Despite the obvious bad connections with WWE and people disliking it, there is still that kind of thing of like, this is a WWE wrestler, like competing
And it's
in the promotion
hard
I
to
watch.
say. It's hard to say that any. I mean, Io won the belt. She's
That
won
yeah,
two top titles in the company, two of the three that she
she might
possibly
be the
can.
most successful one that they've let
Yeah,
like go
like
outside the doors.
other than
Well,
Shinsuke.
yeah,
But Shinsuke, I mean, if we're talking, kayfabe accomplishments, Shinsuke hasn't won as much as Io's won.
no,
Effect like he's won the Royal Rumble and some mid card belts. That's that's it. Um, which are big, but like you get what I mean, and especially relative to the scene. Shinsuke was obviously huge to New Japan and huge to Puro for a dark time. Io Shirai was the Joshi wrestler
mhm,
for like several years. You know what I mean? And that's discrediting certain wrestlers, but in terms of just like pure like, you know, being the figurehead of a scene,
yeah. Well, she
like
was the
that was
award winner.
her.
She
Yeah,
was the one
exactly.
that got the attention abroad as the three of them are leading Joshi, and people
Hmm.
weren't to know obviously that Tsukasa Fujimoto was doing her stuff, and and Arisa Nakajima was doing her stuff,
Yeah,
to
exactly.
general people, it was the Freedom are leading the charge. She is still considered that by a lot of people as the one that was leading this revival of Joshi.
Yeah, and I think that's big, and I don't know. It's hard to like put into words how like big of a deal this is without sounding like a mark. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but it is like a really big deal, and I think as we come down from the high of like the announcement, the problems, which aren't really problems, of booking such a big one versus one match, might unveil themselves. We might have to discuss them, but I also don't really feel like they're as big of a deal because, in the words of Shayna Baszler, she is Io Shirai.
Hmm.
That's it. Like that's
You're
that's
pretty
it.
on the money. Yeah, I can't argue.
And that's coming from,
Um,
one of the bigger Utami fans. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, you know, it's hard to it's hard.
Mm. Um, I don't think there's any news from Marigold, so I think we can just go straight for a review. Um,
uh the belt.
like there's stuff to
Yeah, no, that
preview, but
actually
that'll
matters.
kind of, yeah, like we'll cover that. So Marigold had their latest show. It was Marigold Opening Wars 2024 at Cork and Hall. They did a disputed 985 fans. People have said that was wrong. People have said that was right. People who are there were like, this was way emptier. I have no idea. I think 900 is pretty on the ball. Um, but this was kind of what I was expecting. It's a Tuesday without Julia, so I thought they would fall off from the first show, and we had kind of said 800 plus is probably considered a success. So that number is a success to me.
And I think even if they are high balling it, it's still probably over 800 just from what I've seen of Korkins before.
Yeah, well, three sides of the ring were full. Like
Yeah.
there's no way it
I
was
the thing
empty.
was that the bleachers just had like a lot of empty seats,
Yeah.
which like, still I would imagine it's at least over 800. I don't
Mm,
think they were, lying to a degree of it being like, 700 or something like that. Like I think they still won with this attendance, even if some people say it was, a inflated number. Um,
mhm.
but I mean, ultimately, what matters is like the vibe of the Korkan. Obviously, it wasn't as hot of a vibe as the first one, but it was still
No.
a fun and energetic show. Especially where it mattered. I thought
Hmm.
Nanae and Utami especially really got the crowd into it.
But
So
yeah,
I
I
I
mean,
I thought that the crowd aided to this show, even if it was notably less packed than the previous one, or than the next one probably will be, given that there will be titles and Julie will probably be on it, and et cetera, et cetera.
mhm, that's fair. In our opener, Mirai defeated the debuting Komomo Minami in allegedly 14 minutes. I didn't feel this go 14, so I don't know if that's an error or
That's
not.
no, it went long.
Really?
It went
Okay.
over 11 at least. I know they gave a 10-minute call, and then there was still out. 14 does seem very long though.
Mm,
Wait, no, yeah, no, it would have been 14 because they started doing the emergency calls where they're like, "There's 3 minutes remaining, 2 minutes remaining." So yeah, it would have been.
that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um.
thought I thought it was a 10-minute time limit, so I thought it was like, oh,
Yeah.
we're pushing up against the edge of that, but no, I get. Komamo did way better than I thought she did. Then damn, like I thought she did good, but that's commendable to go 14 minutes in the singles and you know be able to do it naturally. I guess.
Yeah. I liked the look. I think that's got a lot of compliments. The gear.
Hmm,
I'm just so happy that we're getting away from
it's
the
different.
choker and the lines coming out of the choker into the
Yeah.
bra, like because everybody does that now. Whereas this was just top, bottom. That's it.
It's kind of
Um.
fascinating because the gear maker that does those gears, that specializes in those gears,
Mhm.
also makes gears that are completely different. Like she made FWC's new gear, and
Yeah.
that's like a real unique set of gear. I was like, why don't people ask her for like this type of, like, she's a good gear maker, but
Mm.
yeah. So Komomo's gear, I think it was made by somebody else. Loved it, thought it looked great.
Color scheme is cool too. The black and
Yes,
yellow kind of works really easily.
shockingly, we are in a too colorful era of Joshi wrestling there are like two wrestlers who wear like mostly black, like 90% black, and one of them probably isn't anymore because she's Starlight Kid, and her entire gimmick as a heel was that she is now dark, and she will no longer be dark soon enough. Um, yeah, I thought that the gear was kind of a breath of fresh air in a way, um,
Hmm.
and I really liked it, and I thought that complimented Komomo in looking different from other rookies, which is kind of a thing you need to do as a rookie in the modern day of Joshi wrestling. You know what I mean?
Definitely. In the ring, I thought she was pretty solid. She
Mm.
did look a step slow, which is something she'll have to pick up, and imagine she will pretty easily pick that up. But I remember noticing once or twice that she was moving a bit slower than even when she was running the ropes. I was like, you should be doing that a little bit more zip. Um,
Yeah.
Overall, I thought she was really solid. She already has her standout spots in the cool DDT she did, where she like flips over the back.
Hmm.
Um, the submission base is kind of interesting for a former high speed wrestler. She was like really targeting Mariah's arm, which I thought was
The
an interesting
interesting
wrinkle.
thing is that, and you listen on Japanese commentary, I listen on English.
Hmm.
Sunny kind of alluded to like her being heavily trained by Hazuki being
Oh,
what made her a high speed wrestler at that point, but that like Mirai having trained her in Marigold basically has made her a bit more of a all rounder, if that makes sense.
okay.
Because Sonny did say that it was those two primarily who played a hand in forming Komo Minami as like a wrestler. So I think that might have been it. That it's like, oh, she
Yeah.
was trained by Hazuki, so she wanted to be like Hazuki, but now she was trained by Mirai, so she doesn't feel like she needs to chase the Hazuki archetype, and she has two vastly different models to kind of look at. And she's even going with the technical stuff, which is kind of neither of them. Neither of them are super technique based. So I'm interested in her style. I think it is a good style. Um, I would agree that it's mostly like certain speed things, certain it's just energy things. Again, on commentary, they kind of alluded to the fact that she got blown up near the end.
Hmm.
Uh, and despite that, she was still working really hard and like putting in the effort, but it was noticeable that she was in deep water and likely couldn't swim, so to speak. um but yeah, I think it's just like a matter of energy, it's a matter of intensity. I think those are the two things that she needs to get down a bit more. But
Yeah.
she's she looks good early on. I enjoyed this match, which is not always the case with the rookie match, with the debut match. I thought this match was like a generally good time, and a big part of that is Mirai. Mirai's great. Mirai really has a lot to her game, but I thought Komomo Minami did not. She didn't completely fail by any means. I thought she looked pretty good generally.
Yeah, I mean, Kimon was in a nice spot as kind of you don't. She's the only rookie in my eyes. I don't see the actress crew as rookies because they wrestled
Mm.
already. So she's kind of in a class of her own now. So she gets to stand out as the rookie. Um,
Until the other
and
three come in and
yeah, until the other three,
and
and then you can
Sendai
really
Homegirl.
compare. Yeah, but I think like as far as fully Marigold trainee kind of productions, where she's kind of in a league of her own at the moment. This kind of gives her a nice spot to just do her own thing without much competition. So yeah, it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see how
Chiaki was
she.
gassing her up the other day. That she was like, "This is the first Marigold trainee. This is
Yeah.
y'all gotta watch out for this one." It's like them looking like, you know, Chiaki looking like her boyfriend. It was crazy. Um, Chiaki's such a Chad. I swear to God.
Vibes are just
Um,
immaculate with
she's
that
just
roster.
she's the. I mean, yes, but um, but yeah, it does feel like Kimono Minami has a very high upward trajectory if she stays healthy and
Definitely.
if she stays motivated. I think she can really be a lot because you get the vibe from certain trainees. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but like Rian is someone that's going to take time to become a like full-fledged wrestler, and then from there become what she's going to become.
Hmm.
I feel like Kimono Minami, you can see the through line already. Uh, and I think that's a good thing for her, obviously. And it's a good note of the Marigold training system that she is
Well, hey,
What
listen, we did
they're
say
1-for-1 thus far.
Nanae Fuka is a two-headed dragon as
Yeah.
far as training goes. And also you just have Mariah and Utami helping out. Like that's crazy. Um, so yeah, we're they're in good hands.
Hmm.
After the match, then Rossi got into the ring and he said, "Hey, we have a new wrestler to join us." And out came Rea Marumori, formerly of Sendai Girls. I believe she's just going by Rea now in Marigold. They kind
Man,
of
that's gonna
on
fuck up
Twitter
my
anyway. She
spreadsheet.
yeah on Twitter she did shorten her name I think to just Rea. So I would imagine she'll like officially change it soon. Um, so she took a break a couple of months ago. So Sendai Girls didn't upload for a long time. So she just didn't exist. And then by the time she did exist, she had gone on a break. So
Yeah.
she's like Schrodinger's wrestler. Um, and so she had been on a break, and recently they had said she would be retiring or like leaving Sendai Girls, and everybody thought it was a retirement. Then we were talking, and you said one of the people was like, "I can't wait to wrestle you again," which is really weird.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, she's gonna come back," and then here
Because
she
they never
is.
used the word retirement. Because the
It
word
didn't
retirement,
know.
which I thought could have been like a, oh, she's a rookie, she doesn't get to retire because that's a respect thing. You
Yeah,
didn't pay your dues enough to retire. Which is like something that happens with Itsuki Hoshino. Like there are people who have,
I don't think Sendai does that though. They've been very respectful the
but
last
like,
few.
but even so, did Canon officially retire or did she just stop wrestling?
Um, I think she did officially retire. Yes.
Okay, okay, I miss Canon. She was Sendai Girls' golden goose in my opinion. She was a crazy good rookie.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, so that was kind of what I looked at. I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." Um, I didn't think it would lead into her being introduced so quickly.
No.
Um,
Yeah. That's kind of surprising.
Especially
Um.
because, there seems to be another wrestler who is in a very similar situation who has not been introduced, who has way more reps than Rhea does. So
Well,
it's
a sumo hall debut for
potentially
Big Kiz seems
for
like the
Big
way to
Kiz
go. Yeah, Big Kiz.
for the
Um,
for nepotism's greatest daughter,
yeah, I mean, why
the
not?
the the legendary Nepo, the greatest.
That's Charlotte, buddy.
Uh,
Um,
okay, if
anyway,
if they were to wrestle right now, who could wrestle with a functioning leg? That's my question. Whoever can wrestle right now wins.
okay,
Who would
that's
win in a
fair.
fight,
That's
Alex?
fair. Well, I'm not sure yet, but you gotta remember, Charlotte has that like Andrade DNA in her now. She
Okay,
ain't
true.
fucking around.
That's
So
true.
I think she would
Shuts out.
definitely win a fight even with one leg.
That's crazy.
um, she also has a very big height advantage. She is very tall.
Yeah, but
So
if she's in a wheelchair, what are you gonna do? Like,
why would she be in a wheelchair? She can just
didn't
stand.
she like didn't she like kill her leg in like 17 different places?
Um, I have no idea. That was also like 6 months ago, maybe. So
That's true.
she's
She's
probably
probably
partially
she's
okay
probably
now.
yeah, she's probably
Yeah.
capable of
Enough
winning a
about
fight
Charlotte.
against a
On
child.
Rhea or Rhea, I will get her name right eventually.
I want to say it's Rhea.
Probably is Rhea. On her, uh, the uh story currently is Mako hit up Rossi and said,
Hmm.
"Hey, I have this trainee who wants to go and join Marigold. Will you let her join Marigold?" And he said, "Sure thing." He said something about an interview, so maybe they like made her do a test and like
Yeah,
obviously like a
so
protest, and they did the interview and then
so
said
some
yes.
some additional things. Rhea said that she left Sendai for Marigold because she wants to wrestle under Nanae Takahashi, which
Oh, okay.
is I don't blame you.
Very common.
you know,
Very common.
yeah, Nanai's one of the best. Um, and yeah, so she spoke to Mako and they made a peaceful transfer. Um, yeah, no, that and beyond that, Rhea kind of talked about um her ambitions as a wrestler and her goals of like, you know, her statement reminded me a lot of Hana. Um,
Mm.
Hana once did like a made a big speech about how she really wanted her pro wrestling to help. others with like mental illness and just like who are
Hmm.
having a rough time in their daily life to kind of have something to enjoy and have someone to believe in and have something like that. Um, Rhea said something very similar in her statement that she released online, and that all obviously immediately made me a big fan of hers. I was already a fan of hers because she's the girl who hits the JoJo pose, and I think that's really fucking cool. Like I think that's sick. Um, but yeah, so she wanted to join Marigold because of Nanae Takahashi, and she wants, that's her goal, is to kind of help wrestling fans who are dealing with their bullshit and their issues. I say bullshit. I meant it in a more
It's
that
fine.
sound.
It's okay. We
You
get you.
get what I mean.
Um,
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's nice that Sendai kind of went along with it. I
Mhm.
think when you're Sendai, the thing is, a lot of people just don't want to live there. um,
Yeah.
so you have this rookie who's going, I want to move to Tokyo and live in a better space. You can't really go no, because they will just leave anyway. Like I remember Tyrannosaurus Akuda was like the first big homegrown Sendai push, and she left because she just didn't want to live there anymore. And so I feel like that's something that can happen with Sendai girls. So
Yeah,
here
and
they
it's
just
like
said, okay, you want to go, that's fine, we will facilitate it.
I think that's another thing about the smaller grocery companies people kind of forget is that like they have side businesses,
Hmm.
and Sendai's the most famous one. Like they have a
A farm,
quite like
you can buy
successful farm.
rice from their farm.
Yeah, they have like a pretty successful, like like I think Wave has like a bar, and I think most
A lot of them
of
have
the
bars, yeah.
yeah, all of them have bars. But like Sendai has like a fully functioning fucking farm behind their dojo. So like, like I get hers, maybe she just wasn't the farm life wasn't for her, the Sendai life wasn't for her, and yeah.
Mhm.
Um and I agree. I think it's good that it was a peaceful transfer. Um it was very funny because Sonny compared it to Andras Miyagi, which
Didn't end well.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I get why, because it's like it's the most obvious example, but it is a funny example because like that did kind of hurt their relationship with Sendai for the moment,
Mm.
and the Andras stuff did not end well for anybody. So interesting example to give there, but yeah, it was a peaceful transfer, um, and a quick transfer clearly because she went out a few months ago. Um, and it's been pretty, you know it
Pretty
seems,
quick.
at least from the outside looking in, it seems pretty clean cut and quick for,
Mhm.
as soon as Mako kind of came back, she was like, okay, you can leave.
um, She seems primed for the super flyweight division. She
Yes,
isn't on any of the upcoming cards, if I'm remembering correctly. So there's still
she's not.
an adjustment period. So we're going to see her eventually. I imagine. I don't. I think she might have said that she wants to be in the super flyweight division, and I just forget where. Or somebody else said it, and I'm just assuming. But she does look super flyweight material. Um,
Which they need more
that
of.
Yes, definitely. But that is Rhea. After that, then we had Nagisa Nozaki beating Nao Ishikawa in 8.5 minutes. This is like a fine babyface heel matchup. Nozaki working over now, now getting a few surprise comebacks, but very formulaic from both. I think we've seen Nao Ishikawa do this match multiple times now. We've seen Nagisa Nozaki work on top and just forget that she has to work with pace. She is on that Randy Orton strat right now where she's like, I will move at the pace I want. I do
Yep.
not care. I'm waiting for the day Nagisa Nozaki picks it up because we have obviously seen Nagisa Nozaki wrestle with some pace and she is pretty incredible, but she has not done that yet in Marigold. So that was fine. In another promotion, it would have been slated, but the vibes around Marigold are so good right now that they can both get a pass for a rather formulaic match.
Yeah.
Still
Being
love Naoya Ishikawa, by the way. Just putting
Yes,
that out there.
same,
She's great.
likewise. Being an Ozaki fan is harder than being in the Marines at this point. Um, it's so hard. 'Cause she's good. Like, and I'm tired of having to tell people that she's great. Uh, but yeah, I mean, even again, I really like Stu and Sonny's commentary because it is quite insightful, even though
Mm.
sometimes it's a bit, you know, uh, Sonny doesn't do commentary, and Stu can only do so much.
Kind of
He's
feel
not the
bad
greatest
because
commentator of all time.
Sony really doesn't want to be there.
Yes.
But he's trying his best. But you
Yeah,
can
that's what I
hear
mean.
that he doesn't want to be there.
And like it's insightful enough to where it's like you get little tidbits. So like
Yeah.
you know, I don't dislike it. But even Stu was kind of like, I think Nozaki is only using about 20% of her power in Marigold. And like he meant it
That's
in like a
crazy.
complimentary way,
Because
obviously,
he's
because you're a
seen her as
commentary.
well. She has
Yeah,
tried
I mean,
in Noah.
in
He's
Noah,
seen it.
she has been great in Noah
Yeah.
before. Like he does Monday Magic, yeah. Or actually, I don't think he does, but like he's seen Monday Magic at least, and she's been great in Noah. Um, so yeah, he's like, I think she's like we haven't even seen anything of Nozaki yet. And I was like, oh, you are right. Um, but yeah, I thought that like Nozaki just has a certain air to her that makes this match not as bad as it could be. Because she just has a certain confidence to everything she does. Though just in terms of purely work, yeah, I wanted more out of it. I want a little bit more out of it from both of them, I think, and it felt like this match just kind of ended,
Mm,
uh, which might have been the biggest problem on the show. Because this is not the only match where it felt like the finish was a bit flat for me. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it enough. Nozaki got the single leg drop kick. I thought that was sick. And yeah, the Ishikawa comeback was like 60 seconds, which sucked.
mm,
But, you know, uh, it wasn't bad, but I want more from it, definitely. The ref also counted to three at one point and
yeah.
pretending he only got to two. This ref was counting so absurdly fast. It was like a high speed match every single match.
What a
And at
difference
certain
from the
points,
main event.
yeah, at certain
Where they got
points, the
WADA.
yeah, shouts out Wada. But at certain points, they would just like they just kicked out at three because it was like after three because it's like I can't kick out that fast. I wasn't even fully pinned for the first 2 seconds, and you just decided to like what the fuck. So yeah, that was also something in this show or in this match specifically that the crowd was like, "What the fuck just happened there?" That was
Even the
weird.
referee wanted them to go home. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, Our next match then was Mai Sakurai and Misa Matsui beating Chiaki and Natsumi Shozuki in 14 minutes. Misa Matsui got the win for her team over Shozuki in a surprise upset. Um, I quite like that result. I think it sets Matsui and Shozuki on a collision course for the super flyweight belt. I
Mhm.
think that's a pretty obvious match to do. Probably having Shozuki get her win back there. But I did like Matsui getting surprise win. I think she's the kind of wrestler who can do that every now and then. If you just give her random upsets every now and again, she'll remain credible because she's a good enough wrestler to get people on side anyway. Um, yeah, I thought this was good. You can tell that the actress girls are still trying to adjust to people like Mai Sakurai a little bit. Even if I do like Mai Sakurai, and you maybe Scott admit that she was good after this match.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, you can definitely tell that there's like actress pace and then everybody else's pace, and it's kind of some of them have adjusted and some of them haven't. But I
Which
did
is
think this
interesting
was
because
good.
my Sakurai was an actress girl.
She was for
Um,
all of like 10 days, in fairness.
she was in the beginning. You know how it was.
And I think
Um,
she was a different trainer as well
yeah,
because
she was beginning.
she was post Hota but before rebrand. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, her and Chiaki actually paired off very well together here, and I
Yeah.
think that is because they trained it like they debuted around the
I
same
always forget
era.
Chiaki debuted at the very end of Real Actress because
Yeah, she was around during Real
yeah, like
Actress.
that entire phase is just a blur. But yeah, Chiaki did debut like the show before they died and rebranded or whatever the hell that was. But yeah, um, yeah, her and Chiaki probably did train together a bit.
Yeah, so I thought they did good work together. I think that like this match, I really like this match. I like all of the. I usually like these like actress tag matches,
Mhm.
because I think Chiaki really gets to like show off her best stuff in tag matches so far. I think her single stuff still leaves a bit to be desired, but her tag, encounters are always really fun. 'Cause
Mm.
she gets to pick her spot a bit more. Um, she has the big Bob Lash spear, which shout out. Um, I've never seen Chiaki and Bobby Lashley in the same building at the same time. By the way, I'm just saying. Um,
We have
but
a wave of Joshi who do cool spears now. It's pretty
this is
incredible.
true. This is true. I know, but me, Xavier and Scott were just like, "Holy fuck, she does the Bob Lashley spear!" And then like a week later,
How's he
I'm
on
just
Bob
like,
Lashley? What's he up to these days? Is he
"He's
injured?
injured. He's
Oh, that's a
injured," which
shame.
sucks because I also really like Bobby Lashley,
Yeah,
in in
I
small
used
doses.
to use him on the ECW WWE game.
Oh fuck
He
yeah,
was a
yeah.
bit of a god.
Oh yeah. Oh, all the time. He was my go-to. I fucking loved Bobby Lashley in was he in '07? He was in '07 and '08. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Um,
OA is the main one though. He was like the representative of
yes.
ECW on that one.
Bro, in the story mode, I'm sorry, everybody. I apologize. In the story mode, there was a cutscene where you like smack him in the head with a chair and he just walks through it. And I was like, that's not how human beings work. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I was like, is this guy like like the greatest wrestler that's ever lived? What the fuck? Because I wasn't watching ECW at that time, but I digress. Shouts out Chiaki, shouts out Bob Lashley. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I love this match. That was really, really cool. Matsui winning with the Maru suplex. Shouts out the OG one time. Uh, shocked me. I was amazed because Shizuki's kind of been like, she's been losing matches, but she hasn't been getting pinned. The only time she's
Mm,
gotten pinned so far was against Bozilla, uh, which is Bozilla. Um,
yeah.
so I was like kind of amazed that Matsui got the winner here, and afterwards they were like, "Oh, this is gonna be the super flyweight match," and I thought, "Okay, that's cool." Um, and we'll talk about that when Ryogoku starts coming up because there's technically tournament matches. We know how both the tournaments are going to go for the most part, I think. Um, but yeah, so I really like this match. I thought it was interesting. Matsui got the win, and yeah, I love all four of these wrestlers now. I'm not gonna lie. My Sakurai of the four, still the you know the number four, but she's consistently been good in Marigold, and I'm very happy to say that because I
My
was not.
commitment has paid off.
Yeah, I was not confident in that, but she's been quite good consistently.
Her and Sari might be the
Her and
one that
Saori
makes
can be
people
really,
take
really
notice.
good.
Yeah, I think that could be the one. Do you have any more on that match, or do we have to suffer with this next one?
Um, I liked Matsui's microphone performance, even though obviously it's Japanese. I don't fully,
Yeah.
but I thought she's like had a good confidence to her that it's like and like this like endearing nature to her that I think she is a far more complete wrestler than I thought she was. I always thought she
Oh
was
yeah.
really good, but like she is legitimately like one of the most complete wrestlers on the roster, and that
Hmm.
is not what I was expecting of the 13 wrestlers that came over or so.
That's fair, honestly. I was pretty into her, but I can see
I mean, like I said, I always
how.
liked her like in rings. Like I always thought,
Yeah.
whenever I'd see her big stuff, I thought it was good. But like she just has everything on lock, and I was not expecting her to be this good. To the point where it's like
Yeah.
she's
I
really
getcha.
one of my favorites.
Our next match then was Chika Goto, Koki Amarai, and Miko Iono eating Bozilla, Myla Grace, and Zeta Steel in 14 minutes. I will say some of the matches on this were a little bit long. It was one of the first times where I went, "This is not the compact Marigold that I know."
Okay, there.
Um, but yeah, Chika Goto, Koki, and Miku inflicting one of the first defeats on Bozilla. They did get the win over, I think, Myla, so it wasn't really. It was
No,
Mikoyano
they got the win over
getting.
Zeta,
Yeah, it was Mikoyano
which
beating Zeta.
sucks.
um,
I'm starting to get upset that the wrong white girl is getting pinned.
that's
Like
fair.
that's where
That's
we're
fair.
at.
Um, I mean, the most interesting bits were obviously involving Bozilla. No offense to anyone else, but her and Chica squaring up was like, holy shit. Mikoyano briefly being like, hey, don't test me with Bozilla was also fantastic.
Hmm.
Um, I think they tried to do some team stuff. Mila and Zeta would like do the fast person attacks, or they would get thrown. Um, and they tried. I don't know. I thought the match itself for 14 minutes it was asking a lot of the people involved, and it really only had a few brief flashes of greatness, especially like mainly when Miko Ono was involved. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It was a bit all over the place. This is where I gave up on Myla Grace. I have been very defensive and patient with Myla Grace, but she has regressed, if anything, since her debut.
Mm.
And at this point, it's like, okay, when are you gonna get up to speed? Are you gonna get up to speed? And it's really looking like that answer is a no.
Yeah.
Because Zeta has done everything you need. Like she's such a natural. She even
Mhm.
with Bozilla, which is this odd couple pairing,
Her
she
and
does it
Bozilla is
perfectly.
super fun.
It
Like
is. It
legit.
works
It's
like
so cool.
perfectly. And Myla is trying, but it doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
So nothing is working with that foreign trio together. I think the other team has Chica, who is still very rough around the edges, and Koki, who a lot of people have doubts about since she's debuted, but I thought she had a slight return to form here. The short hair was back, which I think is a big dub. We need that short hair.
She dyed it. It's darker now
She
too.
did. It's great. Androgynous king. Let's go. But yeah, I think this was Miko Iono really standing out as like, hey, I am the standard bearer, and also Bozilla reminding us that she's a beast. So yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know if there's much else to say about the match.
there's a bit. I will say that became very abundantly clear that Koki versus Myla Grace is the worst match they could possibly run.
Yes.
Um, because, and I say that because Zeta Steel and Myla Grace at least don't have a language barrier.
Hmm.
So like they can try, like that match was really bad, but they could at least, kind of try to make something work. Koki is going to need her hand kind of, handheld through some of these early matches before she kind of starts uh sinking her teeth into whatever she becomes. And we
What have
saw.
I become now that
No,
I've
no, 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 we're not
betrayed?
doing that, we're not doing that, we're not doing that. I don't know why I started singing. No, we
I
don't
don't
do
know
that.
either. It's catchy,
um
sadly.
yeah, but I look at it, Chikagoto versus Miley Grace was not good, but Chikagoto has like certain really cool things to her moveset. I don't think Koki has those things,
That's
unfortunately.
fair.
um So yeah, I definitely have my doubts about Koki, and I have given up on my, like I want to say I told Scott, maybe I said in the group chat that I was like, I think I might be to the point where I start skipping Milo matches
Mm.
because
I do remember you saying this.
I don't think I need to watch these. You know what I mean? And it's like I've been watching I've watched every Marigold match to this point because I want to get a full grasp of the company. And yeah, she's the first person where I was like, I don't think I even necessarily want to see you get better. I just want to see
Wow.
you be better. You know what I mean? Like I don't,
Yeah.
like I'm just not interested in that anymore. Whereas like Zeta, yeah, it's like Zeta isn't the best wrestler, but she has noticeably gotten a bit better, and her timing is getting
Hmm.
better, and like at the very least, she's funny.
Yeah.
Even if she has an off day, she is a funny wrestler. And she has a really good, comedic timing, and the physical comedy aspects of it. I mean, the post match was probably my favorite part of this entire match, where Zeta slaps Bozilla on the top of the head, and Bozilla fucking power bombs her, and
That was
Zeta's just
great.
dead for forever, and they have to
Bozilla
drag her
got
body
chance.
out.
They were chanting
Yeah,
for Bozilla.
like that was super fun, and like everything to do with Zeta and Bozilla as an oddball pairing was a lot of fun. So yeah, Milo looks worse because the
Mhm.
two other foreigners are at least finding their niche, even if Zeta isn't always the best wrestler, and she's obviously not the best wrestler on the roster, but she at least always, you know, it feels like she has a purpose. It feels like Mila both doesn't and is also just not very good,
Yeah,
uh, unfortunately. So yeah,
that's fair.
that's my take on the match. The aftermath was also kind of interesting because that's
Yes,
where we got
yes. So
takeaway matches.
Miko Ono, I believe, got on the microphone and was the first one to talk and brought up the United National Championship. And she said, "Hey, we're going to do a tournament. I want to be in it." And then there was this like very long pause where I think Nagisa Nozaki was meant to show up but didn't. Um, and so next thing you know, the camera pans to Mirai, who also wants the United National belt. And they're kind of squaring up to Bozilla, who has obviously made it known that she wants to be a champion. And Bozilla got on the mic and said, "I am a Ziller. I will kill both of you. So don't get in my way." And that was it. They set up the white belts pretty easily there. They did make it seem like Iono or Mirai could challenge Bozilla. Like they were both very headstrong against her, so that's kind of
Mm.
interesting. But yeah, Bozilla was like, I'm gonna kill you,
It
and
was it
it
was
was
an
great.
unfortunate moment because yeah, I feel like Nozaki probably missed her cue or just wasn't there like everybody expected her to be because
Yeah,
it felt like nobody wanted this fucking belt. And I was like, I mean, everybody wanted it like a couple days ago. Like I don't
yeah,
what? Like even
it was.
Bozilla was like or and whatever somebody else, because it felt like there was a third person that was supposed to be there, and
Mm,
it was Nozaki, as we know with the
yeah,
cards
she's in
that
the
have come out.
tournament. Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit awkward, but I'm happy with the participants. It's very funny that Nozaki's been like uh strolling through these victories and is just gonna get demolished by Bozilla. Uh, like that's gonna be her first loss, and
Yeah.
that's funny to me. But yeah, I'm excited for that tournament. It looks good.
Mhm.
It's also interesting that that means that Sari does not get to be the Enochius that she truly
Yeah,
wanted to be.
sadly, they're making her be world champion. It's a
Yeah,
shame.
she's gonna have
Um,
to be the first double champion because she is not stopping wrestling for this company until she gets the Inoki belt.
that's fair. That's true. We're gonna speed the Mayu process up and just do it in six
Yeah,
months instead of a year.
and then
Um,
Maya gets to take it off of her.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Um, but yeah, I thought they did because the other matches obviously are big time, but I think they did a good job with this Corkin of looking forward to Sumo Hall.
Mm,
They have made it a little bit obvious with the super flyweight belt, but I would rather that than Clueless. And there is intrigue over who wrestles Bozilla for the white belt, and either one is a pretty big match. So I think the thing that I like about Marigold now is that they always do have that eye to the future. There's almost always something that they're looking forward to. And I think you
yeah,
saw it kind of throughout this card of here's what's next. This is Corkin, but here's what's next. And I thought they did that pretty well, even just here by being like, "Hey, we're doing a tournament for the belt." By having Matsui obviously pin Shozuki. You can't do that all the time, otherwise it gets a bit predictable. But just doing it here while you're setting the table, I'm all for it.
I'm a fan of what they're doing here. I do think it makes it questionable looking towards Julia Sari, which is
Mm.
obviously going to be for the belt, and that's okay. But it's interesting they haven't said that yet,
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
or even alluded
actually
to
my
it.
theory is they didn't want to say it because it would give away that Utami wasn't
Mm,
wanting to
wasn't
be a
involved.
wrestling somebody. Yeah, because I think that would have been like, okay, what's Utami doing then? Who from WWE is she
True,
wrestling?
true. And
So
like in kayfabe, Utami should have been upset until the moment that she that she
yeah,
got the EO match that she was not
basically.
involved in the red belt situation. So yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah. So that's my guess anyway. We'll have to wait and see if that's the case, but who knows? Um, Speaking of Sari, though, she was in our next match. Sari beat Victoria Yuzuki in 13 minutes. It's kind of a weird to say, but this was just a Sari match. We've all seen them by now. She just beats the hell out of people,
It's very funny
and
that this was a fundamentally good match, but was probably the weakest Sari match I've seen all year.
I
Because
don't know. Her and Eureka
fundamentally, it
Oka
was.
was kind of similar. It was like,
Oh,
okay,
I haven't
this
seen
is
her
cool,
versus
but
Oka,
yeah, I
so
mean, it's
it's
like Oka
probably
is
yeah.
also exceptional. Eureka Oka is
Mhm.
awesome, and Victoria Yuzuki is awesome.
Yes,
So it was kind of similar in that it's like, okay, this is Sari just beating the shit out of some kid, which is fun. But yeah, I saw her
Mhm.
do it with Eureka Oka. She doesn't change it up all that much.
I will say that this match was billed as Shin Ace versus Mirai Ace, which means new Ace versus future Ace, and I thought
Beats.
that's hilarious. That Sari's just the new Ace now. Like she's just like yeah, and like they're just billing her as that. It's like yeah,
Might as
that's just
well,
what she is, I guess.
you know.
But yeah, I thought this match was fun.
Mhm.
Sari did the beat the fuck out of her, and yeah, I thought it was similar to Yuzuki's passion injection match. You know what I mean?
Small bit, yeah.
Like just in terms of Yuzuki's output, especially where it's like you kind of want a little bit more, aggression and just like general
Mm.
like you know, fight back. Fight back like beat the fuck out of her. Try to do that, but Izuki's, stayed in her lane, which is okay. Uh, but I would like a bit more. aggro from her in these matches that call for aggro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's got to get those intangibles down,
Yeah.
especially in this company.
Where there are
Where
so
she,
many people who are going to test you. Like that's the point.
yes, and we'll have those intangibles on lockdown. Like that is half the
Yeah.
roster at this stage. So yeah, she definitely needs to bring it a little bit more. Um, but like her matches are currently good enough that she's fine.
Yes.
And yeah, her dying for her sins at every Korkin is pretty beast. Like the road back to being the ace is going to be a long one, and then I'm strapped in ready.
Yeah. Sorry, winning with a standard Uranagi was also interesting. Homegirl did not. She didn't even give her the ode to Ito. She was like, "Nah, you don't even get to lose to the
She
move that
doesn't do that a lot. I
my
thought it
god."
was weird that she used that because she usually wins with Uranagis,
Yeah.
at least from my experience.
She
So
usually wins with the arm trapped Uranagi, the thank you for
yeah.
everything, if you will.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I was like, damn, she is tossed her and won.
Beast, honestly. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
C tier finisher for a rookie,
which
a
is yeah,
child.
that's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Um, there was no promo or anything after that. We just went
Yes, there
straight
was.
into. Was there?
There's a standoff between her and Julia, and then my Sakura came out.
Oh my god, yeah, I completely blanked that from memory. Okay. Because yeah, I thought they were gonna announce that for the world title, and they didn't. They just
Yeah, that's
spoke.
what. Yeah,
I liked how Julia was like, "Oh, she's talking too much shit," so she just raised her hand as if to be like, "I will smack you with this cast," and it was the only thing that got Sari to shut up. It was great. And then yeah, my Sakurai showed up to be like, "Hey, if you want beef with Julia, you have to beef with me." And so they made that match then for one of the shows this weekend. And yes, my Sakurai will also die for her sins. So yeah, Sari's leaving a trail of bodies behind her. It's
yeah.
pretty
I
interesting.
love that. Mirai has not spoken on behalf of Julia ever since she had to wrestle Saori. She's like, nah, we ain't homies like that no more.
It's pretty fun.
Like I'm doing my own thing. I don't need to be involved in all that.
So DDM who
Yeah,
left, bro? Yeah.
yeah. I was a God's Eye
Uh,
wrestler. I don't know. I don't know the fuck you're talking about.
yeah. All right. Let's see. What's Oh yeah, the main event. We had Utami Hayashishita beating Nanae Takahashi in just under 19 minutes. I think this is great. If you still doubt Nanae Takahashi, I feel like you should have to pay some sort of penance to the
Yep.
world. Like she rocks. She was fantastic in this. Utami is operating at such a high level right now. It's very easy to just ignore Utami being fantastic because obviously she's Utami. But she alongside Mirai has just been so energized since Marigold kicked off that her output is just so much more enjoyable. There's so much more energy into it. Like she is clearly having the time of her life. And
Yeah.
I thought she had an incredible performance here, but so did Nanai. And the pinfalls I thought were like excellent. There was a lot of points where I thought Nanai could have
Hmm.
won. Tommy did a lot of big moves and kept me guessing as to how she would win. I was completely just on the edge of my seat here with this one. I thought it was fantastic.
I agree. I think my only critique of it is I think Utami needs a move that is not the BT bomb. Um, I just don't think it. I don't think it has the oomph anymore, personally. And
Hmm.
I saw a few takes like this online that like for me the finish felt a bit flat. Um, that's the only thing that felt flat for me. I thought this entire match was a fucking masterclass. Honestly, uh, Utami and Anai are like I feel like we kind of forget this about Utami, but if
Your Wi-Fi definitely went. No, you
Utami,
probably can't hear me. Oh, you can hear me. Okay.
I can hear you now. You
Okay.
were
Yeah.
talking.
Your Wi-Fi just cut.
Oh motherfucker!
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
sounded bad at all. That
I
sucks.
tried to
Uh,
to tell you, but uh,
well, what's the last thing you heard me say?
as soon as you started, basically.
Motherfucker. Um, Well, point being, I'll just repeat my point, I guess. Utami and Anai both have a shared quality that they both are really capable of making their opponent look great if they want to. I look back at Utami versus Izumi a lot in like the 5 star and whatnot. that like those were instances of like Utami wanting to put Azumi over and allowing Azumi to just really look like $1,000,000. I felt like they both did that for each other here. Like I felt like this was a rare passion injection match where like Nanae was allowed to look great, and it wasn't like the focus wasn't purely on Utami. You know what I mean? Because it felt like Nanae was like, she wasn't just testing Utami, she was testing herself, and that was kind of what they alluded to after the match as well. So I thought that this match was it was a masterclass, quite frankly. I thought it was absolutely tremendous. And like I said, I don't know if you commented on my comment, but I do think that the hijack bomb just kind of fell flat for me. I
Oh,
think that was the one.
I feel like sometimes she hits it and it's great,
Mhm.
but you probably can't dump Nanae on the back of her head.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the only reason it looked
I
bad, because
also
sometimes she
think that
does
you
just
can
kind of
do.
slump them onto their neck and it looks kind of nasty.
She could just do the splash mountain. Like that's where I'm at. Is that it's like, and that's not where I've been at for a long
See,
time.
I
Is that
she
it's like
probably isn't allowed. I feel like that's
maybe
because Kanzai very specifically passed that one on to Rina Yamashita. So it's probably one of those where
that's
you
true.
don't, especially
And
because it's
yeah,
Dynamite Kanzai. You
and
like,
Utami is someone who has respect for that shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Like if it, for other people, I think you can steal their moves, but like for Aja, for Dynamite, for those '90s crew, you probably can't. It's
And
probably
steal the
very frowned
Niagara
upon.
Falls.
Yeah, sure. You maybe,
It's
yeah,
basically the same thing.
yeah. Oh, listen, if Kyoko gives it the thumbs up, yeah, sure,
Kyoko likes Utami, I think, maybe. They
possibly.
tagged together that one time.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that was the one that kind of fell flat. Is that I just don't really fuck with the hijack bomb anymore. And if
Mm.
that like it made the finish feel a little bit flat. And I saw some takes on that. Like I saw similar opinions on that online a bit. So I'm not alone in that. But otherwise, I thought the match was absolutely tremendous. They were just beating the fuck out of each other. Uh, Utami started banging her head into the mat to fire up, and I was like, "This is what it's all about. This is that passion injection shit right here. This is that passion." Um, but yeah, and oh yeah, and WADA, that was the big thing. AJPW ref WADA was got the
He
assignment
was
for
such a
this.
random addition, but
Yeah, Rossi just has homies. Like
yeah.
that's the thing is that it's just like hey, you want to ref this match? I don't know.
I didn't mind it. He's wasn't as bad as I've
Yeah,
seen
no,
in All
he
Japan
was fine.
with the pause, his dramatic pause for pinfalls.
See,
I
I
thought he
like
was
the
fine.
dramatic pause, so like that's just
I
me.
think it's all
But
right, but probably not if you're used to Joshi
true.
refereeing and
Well,
stuff.
look at Tommy's. Tommy's
Tommy
pinfall is
is in
my
a league
favorite.
of her own.
Yeah, like
Tommy.
that's my favorite pinfall of all time because she's like, "Are you sure you're about to let this motherfucker beat you?" Okay, and like she gives you a second, like you lost, you really lost, like she just like lets it breathe, and it's like holy fuck, like
I love
it's just
Tommy.
I love Tommy. Yeah, Tommy's the best. Um, but yeah, I adored this match. I tweeted it that it's like if you don't get Nanae Takahashi, I don't get you. Like you're just wrong. I don't know. Like, and I know a lot of our
Oh, Tumblr
listeners.
core, that is insane.
I know a lot of our listeners are not, passion enthusiasts. Like I understand that. Um, if you haven't gotten the hit, I think you're I think, you know. Um, but you should still keep listening because, it's okay. But it's just a complete disconnect for me because I just think Denai is so absurdly good right now. It's just she's one of the best. Legit. Like she had a good resume and she has had a good resume. I went back and watched her old matches and some of them are absolutely tremendous, but it's kind of incredible that she's just still has such a pronounced place in wrestling and not for me at least not like a uh she hasn't overstayed her welcome at all
Mm.
for me. So I'm just loving every great Nanai match I get, which is pretty frequently now. That meets the Matsui match. We didn't get to
Oh my
talk about it.
goodness. Who is that at the door?
What? Something's at Alex's door, I believe. Uh, that is taking him away from the podcast for a moment. But yeah, we didn't get to talk about it last week or whatever had happened. But the Misa Matsui match also tremendous. Chiaki match was good, but the Misa Matsui match just really. like I said, it made Matsui. Made me realize that Matsui's a insanely complete wrestler, even more than I thought. And then Takahashi just gets that out of people. And this match with Utami was more of the same. It was just absolutely tremendous. Um, the best passion injection match, which isn't very hard because it's Utami versus Nanae. So like you know, um, but yeah, loved every minute of it except for the finish. I thought the finish was a bit flat. Hope Utami gets a new finish at some point in the future.
All right. Um, yeah, I don't know. There's so much Stardom stuff to do. I almost don't want to keep digging into Marigold. So do you want to finish up on your like post-match thoughts, and then we can preview really quickly what's coming up from Marigold, because I do just want to make sure we give Stardom enough attention.
Yeah. After the match, hold on, after the match, Utami and Nanae thanked each other, and Nanae said that she wants her and Utami to help each other continue to get stronger until she ends her career. Um, and since then, they've been booked in a tag match against each other, where Utami said that the passion training has only just begun. So basically, Utami and Nanae want to wrestle a lot, both with and against each other, until Nanae retires because they both think they can benefit each other as wrestlers, and I think that's really sweet. I think that's really cool. Um, it, like I said, I mean, Nanae's the women's pro wrestling national treasure. Like it's just that's what she is. Um, and I really like that. And then yeah, the thing came out. Utami did a great job selling it and just being like, "This is the biggest thing that could possibly ever happen," uh, and I'm going to leave my mark on Io way more than she has ever known. Um, so we'll talk about that match when that match is coming up. And yeah, I mean, Nanae basically said what you said last week, where it's like, "Hey, you better not just fucking, you better beat her." You better not beat me and then lose to her, motherfucker. Like you better
That's
fucking
gas.
train, motherfucker. Come on. Like yeah, she was like you better not make me look bad. Yeah, like so I appreciate that. Um and yeah, I just thought that it was a really sweet closing. Obviously Utami and then I both closed the show with the catchphrase and the passion, and it was a nice time. Um
Okay,
I really liked it. The Nanae Utami was worth the price of admission alone on this show for me. I thought it was a
definitely.
great match.
Okay. Um, all right. Just to keep us rolling,
Mm,
we have two cards for Marigold this weekend. Um, both are on VOD, so I don't know how much we'll even get to discuss. Um, on June 15th in the KBS Hall, they're debuting in the lovely venue. Bozilla takes on Victoria Yuzuki and Komomo Minami in a handicap match, so that's pretty funny.
yeah.
Um, Tami, Mirai, and Koki make a super team to take on Nanae, Chikagoto, and Nao Ishikawa. Okay,
And then I kind of build this as Chikagoto and Naoshikawa are two wrestlers she wants to have passion injection matches with. Naoshikawa she is scheduled to have one, and Chikagoto she wants to have one. So
that's pretty
that's kind of
beast.
where we're at.
Um, oh boy, Miko Aono and Mai Sakurai versus Sari and Nagisa Nozaki.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Aono and Sari exchanges might change lives.
Holy fuck,
Um,
yeah, that's not a thing that happens.
no.
Like that's a
Um,
new one.
the kind of key thing though is we have two matches in the Super Flyweight Championship tournament.
Mm.
Natsumi Suzuki takes on Zeta Steel, and Misa Matsui takes on Myla Grace in semifinals. So,
Shozuki versus Zeta Steel could be fun.
definitely.
I feel like Shozuki's like a psychopath and a sadist,
Hmm.
so I think Zeta's good at selling, and is kind of funny at
Hmm.
selling. So I think she can really sell her death quite
Yeah,
well.
I think that's an interesting match for Zeta. But this is just kind of step one to get to Suzuki and Matsui for the title. So now they're just gonna sped it up. Is Chiaki not on the show? No.
Yeah, I think she had a yeah. I mean, all of the
Okay.
actress girls had like one date that they couldn't do basically for the
Hmm.
first month. I
Yeah,
think
because
this is
she is on the
Chiaki's.
second show. She's not on the first one. So I was
Yeah.
just kind of um. We go to June 16th in Nagoya. I think this is a pretty strong card. Misamatsu and Chiaki take on Myla Grace and Zeta Steel. That is what it is. Nanae Takahashi takes on Nao Ishikawa in a passion injection match.
Fuck yeah.
Um, Utami is once again in a trios match. It's Utami, Chika, and Koki. Kind of nice team. And they're against
Towers.
Shizuki, Victoria Yuzuki, and Komomo Minami. So Victoria Yuzuki and Komomo kind of being paired up a lot there, which is kind of interesting.
I like
Um,
that trios matches are being introduced because you could do those now,
we were
and
saying that last week, yeah, and
they
I
look
was like,
good.
they probably will do them soon.
Yeah.
Um, you then have the two matches in the United National Tournament to decide who goes to Sumo Hall. As we said, Nagisa Nozaki takes on Bozilla, and Mirai takes on Miko Aono in a pretty crazy match.
I'm not gonna lie, it's interesting giving it away like this. I feel like Mirai versus Nozaki and Aono versus Bozilla, for example, would make a bit more sense because Mirai
I
and
will
Aono
never
feels like a
complain.
big match. I mean, hey, I'm not either, but do you get what I mean? Where it's like Nozaki
No,
Bozilla
I
seems
do.
like it seems like the odd pairings. Like I don't know.
I guess that does though provide the unpredictability because
Yeah,
either Mirai or Aono could win, and I think that's going to be one of the bigger matches so far for Marigold because
it
that's two
temporarily
excellent wrestlers.
protects. Yeah, it temporarily protects either Mirai or Aono from losing
Yeah,
a title match. Um,
definitely.
so that is also another part of it. But yeah, it is interesting. That's gonna be a hell of a match.
hmm and then presumably the main event, My Sakurai and Sari. So,
Yeah,
you know, another decent set of
good,
shows to kind of
good
build
Marigold
up
things.
to Ryogoku and kind of run with what happened at Sumo or Korkan. Jeez. Um, that's Marigold for this week. Stardom had itself a busy week as well.
It did.
On Tuesday, they had a press conference. They announced the card for Yoyogi. They confirmed that Mayu Iwatani will WGP Women's Championship against Tsukasa Fujimoto on an ice ribbon show. That's on the 23rd of June. So going to be interesting to
10
see.
days
Yeah,
from the
because
day of recording.
I anticipate everybody wondering how to watch ice ribbon. Because that's I don't know.
So yeah, I don't watch Ice Ribbon, so like that's the one company where it's like I don't even know where to start.
Yeah,
Really,
because they changed it, didn't they? They did
I
pay-per-views,
believe
then
so.
did a YouTube thing. Now I think they do both, maybe. Um, yeah, they did change it a lot. But the main thing is that they announced the first 12 entrants in the five-star Grand Prix, as well as the layout for this year. So they are going from 2 blocks to technically 4 blocks. It's basically 2 blocks split into an A and B. Um, and they are now doing quarterfinals, semifinals, and a final. So,
Alex, I think you jinxed us.
really?
Last year, you said we will
Okay.
never get a 5-star GP anything like this ever again.
Yeah.
And now it's completely different. Like it isn't just like, oh, like, some things are different. It's like this is a different tournament. Um,
Yeah.
I personally am, and this is like a hot take, from a fundamental level, multiple blocks is a good thing for a company.
Mhm.
But from a this tournament has become such a big deal that changing it can ruin the vibe. It was a bad decision to do it. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Because from a fundamental level, multiple blocks for a roster such as Stardom or even such as New Japan, which kind of swapped, like New Japan switched back to the 2 block thing. Multiple blocks is better because at what point have you given away every single singles match that you could possibly do over 4 years? You know what I mean? Um, we've seen, for example, Starlight Kid versus Natsupoi like 5 years in a row because
Mm.
they've been in the same block 3 years in a row and they had title matches before. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, like, from a fundamental level, to not oversaturate the matches on your roster, giving smaller blocks but keeping more people in, doing multiple blocks makes sense. However, I don't think that they are doing it in a very good
Okay. Well, you see,
capacity here.
4 blocks of 7 is a lot. I think.
Yeah,
And also quarterfinals, semifinals, and final, you're adding matches
quarterfinals is
basically.
bizarre.
Yes. And it's like, I don't know, this is in 21 days too. This is gonna
Especially
be about
so
80, 90 matches to watch in the course of 3 weeks. This is
yeah,
insanity as a viewer. As a viewer,
yes.
how the
This is gonna
fuck are
be
we meant to keep up
hellacious.
with this? This is gonna be crazy. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this is better for the
It's
wrestlers
also
either.
it's 24 people or
6
no, it's
tournament matches at minimum,
28.
21 days.
It's
No, that's
28
a lot.
people?
Yeah, 28, yeah. So they are gonna have to have outsiders. There's no
Yeah,
way you
like a
can
lot of
fill.
them.
Yeah,
Well, maybe not a lot of them, unless they put like the rookies in, which I don't know if they will.
I don't see it.
Um,
No,
they won't need a lot of them. They'll need, like
no.
4. But yeah, it's interesting. Like I'm not fully against, like I said, I'm not against multiple block situations. However, I
Mhm.
am against the way that they scheduled this. I think the time frame is absolutely ridiculous. Um, you can't do this in 20 days, like over a month span or whatever. Like that's not realistic. Um, and also it just I don't know, like I am concerned about it as I was last week. I'm less concerned about it because now I know what we're getting into, but
Yeah.
I'm still like, this seems like a lot.
Um, I don't want to stay on the tournament for too long because again, there's a
Mhm.
lot that happened in Stardom. I'm gonna wait and see how it plays out. But as somebody who didn't experience a 4 block G1, I had kind of given up by then, or a 4 block V1. Didn't know I do it as well.
It's an N1,
Um,
but yes.
N1, sorry. Uh,
But the
I've never
Noah one
experienced
was
four
only
blocks.
4 wrestlers in
Yeah,
each
but
block,
okay.
so it made
My
sense.
thing is, the 2 block system that Stardom used to do is probably the best way to do this as an old school thinking. You get 2 block winners square off, easy,
Mm,
very prestigious. Also, that final day of the GP had become one of the best shows of the year
because
because
it
you
was
just
a
had
bunch of shit,
all
yeah.
of the insane matches on one show, and now you're not doing that. You're doing quarterfinals, semifinals, final. So the final is going to be one match, and then the semifinals and a bunch of tags instead of the final being this insane gauntlet of matches. So I think
It's
that
yeah.
makes me go, okay, this is worse. Um, but I'm gonna wait and see how it goes because the tension of the quarterfinals and upsets could change my mind on things. But initially, I'm like, okay, I am missing the big final, and I'm also gonna miss the 2 best going at it. Undeniably, the 2 best going to wrestle. I
Yeah, but it wasn't
dislike
always
losing
the
out
2
on that.
best. I think that's the thing that they're kind of jumping away from, is that it's like, um I don't know, most years you could kind of see who was losing the final once they got to the final. So I don't hate the idea of having, having, what would it be? 8 contenders. That sucks actually. No, I'm lying. Um 8 8
Yeah,
winners? Really?
yeah,
Like I
it's a
like
lot.
I like I like semifinals. Like I appreciate when you can have 4 finalists in a round robin tournament. That's fine with me. Um I get what you mean. That's like, oh, it takes away the you know mystique of the final day. I agree, but like, hey, if you want to do a round robin tournament, you want to do semifinals, I'm cool with that. 8 finalists is kind of uh,
Mhm,
yeah. I also don't like it because the way that they laid it out is there's one champion in each block. And I don't know if you know this, there are championship matches before this tournament happens. So what the fuck are we gonna do then?
mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I thought Natsuko was beating Ano next month. She's not.
That's December. That is not happening until December now.
But
I'm convinced.
yes, you are correct. Like, but I had hope that's like, oh, maybe they run it before the 5 star, so it kind of frees up Ano to do something, like, or like be a contender in the 5 star, maybe whatever. Um, but yeah, so that's not happening because then it would kind of throw a wrench in the entire, like, you know thought process behind the tournament, where it's like, oh, each block has the red belt, white belt, IWGP former winner.
I do like that. I won't lie.
I do too. I just wish
Mhm.
that it wasn't like, oh, so the title matches don't matter until later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I guess. I
Which
think they would just change it
it's a
because they
change,
did
yeah.
say the single title holder as of June 11. So it's not single title holder when the tournament happens. It's
Hmm.
just as of the day we decide. So I don't think
Yeah,
it's as
I
bad.
dig that. Uh, One of the blocks, which we're not going to talk about the blocks because they're like, most of them aren't, or none of them are finished. But I want to say red B block looks pretty good. It has Mayu and Izumi and Momo, Tam. Uh, that sounds like a really good block thus far. Um, but yeah, we'll see what they kind of cook up with that. Could be good, could be bad. I am fearful that there will be some AEW involvement. Who? I am scared to ask. I'm not gonna lie. That's where I'm at with that. We will see though. We will see. I'm not like doomer on it. I'm not too doomer on it. I'm hoping for the best, but there's a little bit of fear with it. And like I said, I don't have a problem with the multi block thing. Doing it over that little amount of time sucks, but I'm not against the multi block thing. So, unlike many others, that's not my issue with the tournament. It's just I'm a bit fearful with the
Okay.
scheduling and who they get in the tournament generally.
Yeah, I don't know about that because I mean, if you are doing outsiders, it has to be ones who can lose, and there's not a
Oh
ton of
no, it
those.
doesn't.
I
It
guess.
doesn't because there are so few. There are so few. Like you don't have to win much. Like, does that make sense?
You
Like,
kind of do, yeah. I don't know. I'll have to see it in action because
yeah,
I've
we'll
never
we'll
seen
talk
a
about it when we
four-block
get closer to
tournament.
it.
We might have seen a four-block tournament for VTG, but that was obviously different
Yeah,
to
no, we
like
were not
keep up with.
following tournaments like that.
No, so I've never seen it like this. I do have some drawbacks that I can see, but who's to say
But
they
okay,
might pull it out of the bag.
for
We do
example,
have to get onto the episode though,
but
please.
very briefly,
I
very briefly.
do it.
Last year, Sonata won every single one of his matches basically,
Mhm.
and because it was a quarterfinal, the guy who lost quite a bit still got through because it was a quarterfinal. So,
Yeah.
like, it's like that,
Okay, that's fair
which is
enough.
Hikuleo. We don't talk about that.
um. So the contestants as of now, it's Red Stars A, it's Micah, Hazuki, Natsupoi, and Natsuko Tora. Kind of an interesting pair. Red
Mm.
Stars B is Mayu Iwatani, Azumi, Momo Anabe, and Tam Nakano. So a lot of the similar people. I think Azumi and Momo might wrestle every single year at this stage. Momo and Mayu get paired up every single year. So that's that. Siori Ano is in a block
It's a
with
good block.
yeah. Sioriano is in Blue Stars A. She is with Starlight Kid, Suri, and Xena. Starlight Kid not being in the same block as Mayu is already insane. Um, and
Yeah.
Soriano versus Suri is a crazy match. So hopefully that gets time. Then we have Blue Stars B, which is last year's winner Suzu Suzuki, joined by Saya Kamatani, Hanan, and Ami Sore.
Ooh.
So I mean, Suzu and Saya get to go at it, and then Suzu and Hanan is a pretty cool match. So
Yeah.
there's some good league matches there already. And yeah, we just have to wait and see then who fills things out.
Hey, we
Because
didn't
there's
get
some fresh
Suzu and
matches
Hanan
too.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some fresh matches. I think Hazuki and Poi isn't fresh, but
Hazuki and Poi have a match every year.
yeah, but they've only been around for like 2 years, so it's cool.
True.
Hazuki and Micah is cool, I guess. That's pretty chill.
That is a cool match.
Um, Red Stars B
One
is the run it back block. That is
one
crazy.
thing about this though is that I was like, okay, so because of the Queen's Quest Oedo Tai stipulation, would you like to jump into that now?
Yes. So um,
Yeah.
we have the full card for the conversion. It is basically a really bad card until you get to the end. Rian versus Fukigen Death. Tam, Aya Sakura, and Sayaka Kurara versus the God's Eye team of Tomoka Inaba, Ranna Yagami, and Saki Kashima. Because they did remember that Tomoka Inaba is in the group.
Shout
So
out.
that's cool. I like that. Mina and Hanako versus Natsupoi and Unimon on pay-per-view. Starlight Kid versus May Sarah. Okay, that's good stuff. We like that. Runaway Wrestler presents Syria Namisore versus Momokogo and Mayu Iwatani, with Mayu's actress on the side. Sure.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Then we get to the big one. Queen's Quest versus Oedo Tai. Complete decision, final chapter, loser unit banishment elimination match. Saya Kamatani,
I almost yelled.
Azumi, Lady C, Kevin, and Hina take on Rina, Tekla, Ruaka, who I guess is back, Momonabe, and Natsuko Tora. And the stipulation is the last wrestler eliminated on the losing
Is it an
team.
elimination or is it just
Yeah,
the
elimination.
loser?
I literally said elimination in the 10-word title.
But no,
Yes,
I know, but like fundamentally that makes even less sense then. Like this doesn't.
none of it
Okay,
does.
just
But
yeah, I know.
okay, the last wrestler eliminated on the losing team is the only wrestler allowed left in their group. So, in essence, the unit will be disbanded, but officially it will not be disbanded. Now,
It'll be a name
how did we
alone.
get here? How did we get here? So Taro Okada takes to the internet to say, I am not doing a faction disbands match. I don't want to ruin one of our biggest factions. Okay. I don't want to do it. And I thought this is gonna change at the press conference because Saya is gonna get ticked off and agree to like a loser disbands match because she's dumb in canon or whatever. And it turns out that Oedo Tai changed the contract
Yep.
and Taro just didn't realize. so so Taro doesn't want to disband the unit, so Oedo Tai changes the contract to essentially disband the unit under his nose. So he is still doing it because we know he still books the promotion. So we know this is still his decision, but he acted like it's not his decision, but it was his decision.
Well,
And
okay, so in kayfabe he is the matchmaker, but in real life he's the booker. That's the difference. Uh,
everybody knows wrestling is fake, and therefore we
yes,
know he did this
that the
anyway.
booker is the matchmaker. Yes.
So him going, no, I don't want to do it, and then doing it anyway is incredible stuff. I cannot lie to you. Yes, we have ended up with this insane stipulation that I am imagining ends up with a faction disbanding anyway. That or everybody bullying them on Twitter made them change their minds because everybody
That's
came
what
for their
I
head.
think.
Japanese fans were like, "This sucks. What the hell are you doing, Taro? You stink." English fans were saying, "What the hell, Taro? You stink. What is happening?" So either they change their mind or they're going to do it anyway, and they've decided on the most convoluted way
And
possible.
the problem that I see is that like it's not possible for a Oedo Tai to lose.
No,
Um,
there's like
because
0%
because
chance.
I in fact I was on Twitter talking about it, but when I just heard the stipulation, I did not know who was in the match. I didn't know, I just heard that one person from the team will remain, and I was like, oh, well then Oedo Tai can lose because Rock is injured. So if Natsuko gets pinned, then everybody except for Natsuko in the match leaves Oedo Tai. Natsuko and Ruaka just rebuild Oedo Tai.
Mhm.
Okay, you could rebuild around Ruaka and Natsuko pretty easily. Um, like you can figure it out. Whatever. Ruaka's in the match,
Yeah.
so it would just be Natsuko and the Clown
Mhm.
or Ruaka and the Clown. Because those are the
Yeah,
only two that would
I
lose on
think the
that side.
rules, aren't very clear because it does say the 4 people have to leave, but I'm gonna assume, like, everybody would have to leave,
I
you
don't think
know?
it is. I think it is the four other people would.
Okay, because
I think the
all of
reason they're
Queen's
doing
Quest isn't
this.
in it, is it? Is this
No,
all of Queen's Quest?
this is all Queen's Quest because
Oh, I thought
Utami's
there was
gone.
another. Oh, yeah.
That's the thing.
That makes sense, yeah. So Oedo Tai wouldn't actually lose everybody, which is kind of
No,
funny,
they'd still
but
have the
Queen's
Clown.
Quest would. Right, okay.
That's why I'm like I thought the Clown was in it. Like I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so Kaori can do something different. Like if
Mhm.
Oedo Tai were to lose, Kaori can like jump and maybe do something that's not Fukigen, maybe change different death or just do something different in the company. And Momo could do something different. Marina could that could be interesting. Tekla can make her own heel faction. That might work. Like I was thinking of these ideas and then I realized that Ruaka's in the match.
Mhm.
So you would be splitting up Natsuko and Ruaka if they were to lose. What? No. So
Yeah.
that's not happening. Um, but then you look at Queen's Quest. You're fucking up O2 line. What are you
Okay,
doing
well,
there?
that is kind of annoying because I did think, okay, what if Saya just is the last one remaining and swerves anyway? Because I'm pretty sure Saya is swerving at some point.
I
And it
think, and I talked to you briefly about this. I think that they are doing the Momo Saya thing as like a follow up to last year's,
yeah.
where it's like, oh, Momo kept offering Saya the bat, and Saya ultimately denied it because Utami was around and she loved Utami more than,
Mm,
uh, more than the world or whatever. But now Utami's not around, so she'll probably take the bat.
right, but then I don't see because you'd have to leave Azumi. Azumi would have to
Yeah,
be the last one eliminated, but I don't see Azumi without Miyu Amasaki. Um,
that's the problem for me.
especially because there's an easy route to Azumi kind of leading a group. I've said it a few times, like her, Meisera, Starlight Kid, Miyu Amasaki, pretty solid core for a
Suzu.
stable, and Suzu, of course. Um, but without Kevin, I don't know. I think they stay together. That's kind of been their thing. So I am not sure if maybe Saya ends up being
What
the
if
last one
Hina just
remaining.
loses?
Maybe. I think Saya. I think Saya turns on Azumi, is the last one left, and says, "I don't want Queen's Quest to continue," and joins Momo. After Momo pretends to join Queen's Quest because they're gonna do a
Wait,
double
wait.
swerve. They are going full
Oh, that sounds
WCW
so dumb.
TNA. They're doing a double
I
swerve.
hope you're
I
wrong.
know it.
I
I
pray
know
you're
it. I
wrong.
can sense it.
I mean,
Momo's
I
gonna
can sense dumb
pretend
stuff's gonna
to
happen,
join
but
Queen's Quest, and then her and Saya are gonna turn on Azumi, and yeah, Saya's gonna kill the group.
I'm almost gonna pretend that can't be what's happening.
Why not? She's pretended. She's whispering in Saya's ear. You know,
Yeah,
she's been
yeah,
like,
but
"Nah,
no, I don't.
Tora, you
Oh
back
fuck!
off,
But
man. I'm not about it."
the Natsuko Momo angle
Mhm.
where they're kind of beefing. Yeah. Um, this
She's
is
gonna
dumb.
swerve.
Like, I'm
Saya's gonna swerve.
sorry. I don't want to be negative all the time. I like this company. I love
Do
Stars.
you?
I'm liking Cosmic Angels. Uh, I like Stars and Cosmic Angels.
Yeah.
Um, what the fuck are we doing, man?
I don't know. We'll have to
Like,
wait
what
and
is?
see, obviously.
Yes,
And maybe I'm just running away with it
but
a bit
again,
too much.
the best case scenario, realistically, is splitting up O2 line, which you shouldn't do. Or
The
is the
O2
best
line
case?
isn't that important.
Yeah,
But
but like, what
I do think them
does me like a
making a show
hook?
of staying I do think them making a show of staying together is pretty key to why I think
Mm.
Saya turns and kills the group.
So you think that
Um
Saya will be the last one, and then just the group's dead? Yeah.
yeah, Saya turns on Azumi and is like, "Okay, I'm the last
And
one
to be
left."
fair, this isn't uniquely a Taro problem because Rossi did this at one point with TCS. That was really fucking stupid. Um,
Mm.
where like he delayed the death of
You
TCS.
know, at least Rossi had the
Just
slight excuse
we could just
of
not do this.
he wasn't allowed to use TCS anymore. Kyoko Kimura was like, "No." So he does have a slight
Yeah.
excuse at least, but it was not good. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just don't see a world where Queen's Quest stays because I don't know if you build it around just Azumi when Fumi made it seem clear she wanted to go just like 4 months ago.
Yeah. And even if she didn't,
So
it feels like she won't be in Stardom in a couple years. Uh,
yeah,
because
either
if she
AEW
stays in
gets her or
Stardom,
Marigold.
AEW
Like
probably
that's
throw a lot of money at her. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know if you build it around Azumi long term now because she seems to
Yeah.
have a very uncertain future. So that lends credence to me thinking Saya will kill the group because she's going to be the last one left, and she's going to go, well, I want Momo, so I'm just going to join Momo. Oh, if you can't beat him, join him, basically. But
You know how in the passion injection
as a
match Utami
conversion,
started banging her head on the mat? That's how I feel like doing to my desk
yes,
right now. Like just
that's fair. Um,
oh man, what are we
the
doing?
last three matches on the conversion we knew already. FWC Wingori, um,
Good.
Xena, Micah, and Iwata
Okay.
Ano.
Cool.
We will preview that card when the time comes.
Next
They
week?
also, I think, confirmed Wingori versus Sayaka Kurara and Aya Sakura for New Blood.
Yes, we talked about it last week as well.
All right, okay, that's grand. And then there was two shows this past week.
Mhm.
We're just gonna fly through these. We have no time. Um, the Nagoya show on the 8th did 665 fans, which is pretty incredible because
You wouldn't
Marigold is
know
running
it.
there this weekend, which is very
Mm.
interesting for people like me to stir shit. But yeah, the atmosphere here was so bad that I made a tweet saying it was bad and
It,
nobody defended it, which is kind of how
no,
you
it
know.
was like legit. Like I mean, Scott tweeted about it.
Yeah,
Like everybody was like, "This is really bad."
I
Um,
got a reply. It might have been Keem who was like, "I heard the AC going during
yes,
Hazuki's
yeah,
match and I lost faith." And I was like,
yeah.
"That's
It
crazy."
because it was insane. Like Hazuki Ito was a good match. Like the crowd killed Hanan Koguma because there was
Yes.
literally it sounded like they did not want to watch them. They weren't even clapping for them in like the comeback spot, like where they usually would. It
Yeah.
just felt like nothing. But Ida and Hazuki like hard weighed themselves into like a good match, but like still absolutely nothing. And even compared to the Toyama show, I only watched a couple matches from it, but like it was night and day. Like the Nagoya show was fucking bad.
Not to sidetrack because we do have to fly through this. I'm being told our art for this episode is so good that I can't even see it. I'm not even allowed to see it yet.
Oh,
So
lovely.
Doc Spoon is cooking some shit up. Um, Shout out Doc Spoon one time.
Yeah,
Um,
love that guy.
all right. So on the 8th, we had Konami beating Ranna Yagami in 6.5 minutes with a Megan Curlock, whatever that means.
The fuck?
I like this. Konami is good since coming back. She's locked in. She's beating people up
When
and
she's
very
locked in, she's
dominant.
very good.
Yeah, it's kind of the good parts of her being a heel mixed with her having charisma. It's kind of nice because when she
Yes.
was a heel, I thought she worked really well, like dominating a match. She was like ruthless.
But she
Um,
was completely, like,
yeah, it was.
empty,
Well,
soulless.
I liked the look when she was a heel, but she's definitely a lot more natural doing this.
Oh,
So yeah,
it
I think
wait,
Konami's
what?
doing good. Are you okay
Uh,
there?
oh, it was an ankle lock, apparently.
Oh, sure.
Maybe? I don't know.
I guess Japanese would translate to something like Kurlock based on how stuff like that goes. Anyway, it's fine. It
Ankle,
doesn't matter. Yeah.
Kelker, yeah.
The next match was Saki Kashima, Amisore, and Suri beating Suri Ano, Sakura, and Sayaka Kurara. Saki Kashima won with the revival. I don't actually remember this match at all. And I might have watched the day of, which would explain it, but I legitimately have no memories of this match, which seems bad.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, I genuinely couldn't tell you a thing about it. I'm questioning if I actually saw it or not. Like, that's so strange. But yeah, did you see it? Do you remember
No,
it? No.
I
Okay.
did not watch it.
We then had Koguma beat Hanan in a preview of the tag title match with a top rope Yoshi tonic in 8.5 minutes.
Great
Um,
finish.
yes, definitely. As you
Sick
said,
finish.
the crowd really hurt this one. Like, they weren't into it at all, and they did their best, but it just couldn't overcome it.
Yeah, because it was meant to be like like a Hanan special where it's like she's like an
Mm,
underdog fighting up, and like you can't do that when the crowd feels like they're about to spit on you. You know what I mean?
mm.
Like that's how unexcited and how unhappy they felt. Um, so yeah, that it kind of suffered from that. But I did like some of the work. I think I like seeing Koguma in singles matches sometimes because like I feel like she doesn't get enough of them. So it was a shame that this was how it kind of panned out. But you know,
Enough. Um, we then had Hazuki beating Saya Ida in 10.5 minutes with a vertical drop brainbuster. I think they did a better job of overcoming the crowd's limitations,
yes.
but they were still hamstrung by it. Uh, can I put out a hot take that the spot everyone was gassing up where Hazuki was forearming Saya was really bad because Saya looked like she was flopping like a fish, and there was very little moment for the strikes to actually set in. So I thought that was kind of bad.
I didn't think it was like great, but I thought it was cool.
I don't know. It just
I
looked
appreciated it.
funny bad to me. It was like when WWE wrestlers do the post thing where it's like they're headbutting their hand. And you're like, all right, buddy, I see that. I can do that.
Speaking of WWE wrestler. Um,
Scott, you are a nasty piece of work. He's
shouts
not
out
gonna
Big
listen
E.
to this, so he won't
Shouts out
hear
Big E
this. But
Langston. Guy
yeah,
uses
shouts
his
out
real name,
Big E.
not really.
Um, so FWC winning both preview tags is crazy because Taro is like he usually 50-50s the shit out of
They're
that.
going to.
He
I
did
mean,
not.
Hazuki's losing to Hanan, and Ida's beating
Peace.
Koguma
That's
this week.
incredible. I hope so. We then had Mayu Iwatani, Momokogo, and Starlight Kid beating Azumi, Meisera, and Rian. This was when I realized Azumi's new faction is going to just be this, because Rian will join them, and Kid will probably join them as well. Um, and Mayu won this in 13 minutes with a frog splash over Rian. Yeah, it was a match that existed. At one point, Mayu was like doing the "so let's go," and she just gave up. So,
She did not go. She
a
did not.
poor woman was not having any of it. And yeah, I thought it was fine. Oh, there was another trio. Yes, Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, and Yuna Mizumori. Okay, yeah, that I was
I
like,
was gonna say, I was looking at the picture. I was like, wait a minute,
yeah,
why is
I
Tam
was
there?
like, dude, if Cosmic Angels were in this match. Yeah, because I think Mayu and Tam had a funny moment where they kicked each other by accident, and it was good. Um, and Natsupoi, Azumi, and Kid did high speed stuff, but in general, yes, this was a match that happened.
It did
Um,
happen.
and it set up a Kid promo afterwards where she didn't say much and challenged Meisera. Natsupoi or Tam Nakano was like, "Hey, I'll wear a mask," and Natsupoi said, "Well, no, Kid loves me, so she'll join us, and you don't have to wear a mask." But Tam was like, "I don't know, man. I don't think she loves you like
Oh,
that.
and
I'll wear a mask."
Natsupoi alluded to there being to her having a friend that has a mask, that can join in, and I imagine that's just Natsupoi in a mask, but is gonna be billed as a different person.
It's pretty funny. I hope so.
Yeah,
Maybe they
yeah,
got Cotton Mask Calico. Maybe we all,
that would be
you know,
crazy.
yeah.
Just a random.
Who knows?
You'd never expect it.
Um, we then had Tekla, Momo Watanabe, and Natsuko Tora beating Sayaka Mitani, Lady C, and Miyu Amasaki. Tekla beat Lady C with a spider trap. After the match, they were like, "Hey, let's do a unit disbands match or a loser leaves the faction match," which then obviously became what we know. Have you seen an Oedo Tai QQ match recently? Because yeah, this was an Oedo Tai QQ match.
They
Woo!
still have those. Yeah.
This show was a real, as you can tell by my
Hmm.
voice, this show really took it out of me. It was tough. Like there was so little going on. Even Marigold's less than stellar
That wasn't
Korkauen
even the main
was
event.
like night and day. Yeah, the main event was Micah and Hanako beating Mina Shirakawa and Xena. Micah got the win for her team with the Michinoku driver number 2 over Xena. I thought this match was mostly Micah versus Mina, which was great, but also was very weird considering Xena is the number 1 contender. And she simply got beat. But Mina and Micah was cool. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Speaking of
I
Mina,
gave up on the
speaking of,
Nagoya show before I got to see this main event.
no, that's fair. Speaking of Mina Shirakawa, AEW watches back. Mina Shirakawa competed on AEW Rampage last Friday against Serena Deeb. Excellent, a really good match actually. I wouldn't say excellent. It was really good.
It wasn't excellent.
Um,
It was solid.
yeah, I think Serena Deeb is really good. I think
As do
AEW
I.
has a lot of talented women's wrestlers who could do fun stuff with Stardom wrestlers. We just need to see more of that and less run-ins to bump bits with Tony Storm. Um, so yeah, good from AEW. Keep it up. They booked Zeuxis
Oh,
versus Mercedes Monet, and I was
yes.
like, maybe Tony is a real sicko after all,
He's not,
but he
but
probably
that was
isn't.
cool.
No, yeah, Mina and Deeb, thumbs
No,
up.
you know who a real sicko is? El Desperado, who booked Starlight Kid in a tag team match alongside Dragon Kid against him and Mima Shimoda. Uh,
That's
and it was like
crazy.
it was an intergender tag match. So like Despe and Kid were beating the fuck out of each other. It was cool.
Oh, I didn't
Um,
realize. That's cool.
or I don't know
So
if it,
much
I haven't
happened.
gotten to watch it. I haven't gotten to watch it all the way
All
through,
right.
but
Okay.
they were doing sequences together. So if it wasn't
Yeah.
a true intergender match, it was basically an intergender match, and it looked really
All I
cool.
saw from
I heard
that
great
show
things.
was Despy getting his cheeks out. Um,
That too.
yeah. Uh,
He's such a cool
he is.
guy. I love that guy.
So much happened. I feel like we need to we need to reassess here. We'll be back after a quick stop.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're locked in.
I am
We're
locked
ready
in.
to go. All right.
Correct.
So, Stardom had a second show this past weekend in Toyama on the 9th. I didn't actually know this was up. When did this go up?
I don't know, but I watched it last night.
Overnight or? Oh,
No,
okay.
it went up a
Yeah, I
couple
was.
days ago, I'd imagine.
Oh, that makes me look very incompetent. Okay. Um, right. Well, this was in the Belfort Toyama. This did 200 and, no, sorry, 364 fans, was a pretty solid number. In the opener, Hanan beat Sayaka Kurara in 5 minutes with a blockbuster haul. That's madness.
Yeah,
She
she
didn't go
squashed
5 minutes.
her. It was
Wow.
sick. um,
That's
yeah,
a
it was
preview
fun.
for a title match.
Correct. It was a fun match that I had fun with. It was pretty much just a squash. Um, but Hanan did a great job squashing her, and Sakuragi had a good hope spot that led to her losing.
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it.
It's grand. The next match was Saida beating Aya Sakura in 7 minutes with a Boston Crab. Um,
Yep.
and this was also a preview for the New Blood match.
This was quite good. Aya Sakura is just like really sick. Um, did you hear about her name change? Her nickname change? Uh,
Yes, yes.
she is no longer the new karate girl. She is instead the high kick angel, which I think is actually kind of sick. Um, yeah, I think Aya Sakura might be like the best young wrestler in the company, which I was not expecting. But with Izuki gone and with her
Another
just making
Alex dub.
yeah,
Huh?
with her
Yes,
making
I was.
absurd growth
Mm.
basically every match I see her in. Um, and her kicks are always so cool. Like she's just really good. I'm really happy that she's really fun to watch. I like I said earlier, if nothing else, in Stardom has got me. Stars and Cosmic Angels has got me because like the Young Angels are great, and obviously Stars is great, but Ayasaka really continues to impress me. Her kicks are always really sick, and I thought Saida did a great job opposite her, kind of, you know, pressuring her, making her react and stuff. That Saida usually does, the ring general type shit.
All right. Um, the next match was Mina Shirakawa beating Rian, Meisera, and Momokogo in 7 minutes. She beat Rian with also a Boston Crab, it looks like.
Hmm.
Did everybody just Boston Crab their opponents to death
She
on
won
this
a
show?
guitar.
I saw, yes. What happened there? Was Jeff Jarrett around or something?
Bree, woo, Bree. No, she got a
You ever seen
guitar.
the video where Soriano, somebody dubbed that over Soriano doing a photo shoot? It's incredible. It's really fun.
That's legendary.
It is. Our next match was Siri and Konami beating Lady C and Miyu Amasaki. Konami won with a triangle lancer. Siri stays beating the hell out of. Oh yeah, Lady C. I also know Queen's Quest is dying because Lady C is so siding with Siri. she's
Yeah,
she's all over Siri. So yeah, that's definitely going away. But yeah, Suri and Konami seem to be the next in line for the tag belts because they were in the number one contenders match that never happened, and now they are beating bitches. So
hell yeah.
we up.
Queen's Quest is dying with a whimper and not a scream.
Yes. Our next match was my goodness, Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, and Yuna Mizumori beating Amisore
Holy
Sakakashima
fuck.
and Rana Yagami. Tam beat Rana with a violet shooting in 11 minutes and 20 seconds.
Oh, it
Wow.
says a crab hold. And I was like, did she
Oh yeah.
also win with a Boston crab? But no, it's probably just the pin.
Yeah, maybe that's the
Yeah.
translation is just bad now. Who knows?
Yeah, it is.
Um, the next match, I hope this is in the main event. Probably not.
It's not.
Azumi, Starlight Kid, and Sayaka Mitani of Queen's Quest beat Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, and Tekla Oedo Tai. Azumi beat Tekla with the Azumi Zushi. Yeah, cool.
Compliments to the chef. That's all I'm saying.
Sure. Um, Kamatani got really sad and was like, "I'm sorry for dragging you all into this. Just gonna make the swerve even harder."
She does this
Uh,
every show where she's like, "I'm
yeah,
sorry." It's like you could have just not done any of it. Like
yeah.
we're
Azumi was
continuing to
like,
do this.
"I recognize you as leader," which is crazy little broing from Azumi there. Um, and then how many more matches was on this show? Just one. Okay, that's
One,
fine.
yeah.
Mayu Iwatani, Hazuki, and Koguma beat Maika, Xena, and Hanako. Mayu pinned Hanako with a moonsault in just under 15 minutes from what looks like Maika and Xena maybe getting into a tizzy, um,
Mm.
and like leaving Hanako to dry. I don't
This
know.
is where the funny thing happened.
Okay. Oh, I've
Where
seen it on Twitter. Yeah.
yeah, Micah tried to send Koguma into the ring, but instead like sent her just straight up into the apron, and
Mhm.
Koguma like let out a yelp, and everybody was like, "Oh!" And then Hazuki just started booing Micah, and then
Incredible.
Mayu joined her, and then Mina joined her, and then the entire crowd was booing Micah for hurting Koguma too bad, and Koguma was just on the
So
ground
good.
as Hazuki's like helping her, and then Koguma just like quickly gets into the ring and is completely fine. Micah's like, "Wait a minute!" And it was a funny moment. But yeah, one of the
All right.
loudest crowd reactions Micah's gotten as a champion was her getting booed um, over hurting Koguma
Wow.
too badly. So that's fun,
Okay.
and I like
Um.
Micah, but that's
Yeah.
top 15 world star
Uh.
champion of all time. I've said it before.
You did. Yes. You were particularly bored.
Yeah.
Um. We had Stardom took part in the Catch the Wave the other day. Ranna Yagami and Riara had a fun little match. It's on Stardom World if you want to see it. Probably could have done better on both sides. I think Riara can do a lot more, but it was neat. Um, and then we have three shows to preview. One is all together in Sapporo on the 15th. This is probably some weird pay per view again on a
A
Bema, maybe.
Bema, I think. Yeah.
Yes. So that's some weird shit right there. But in the second match on the show, Azumi is wrestling Starlight Kid. We kind of tried to make this into a thing, but it's not really a thing. It's just
What
an exhibition match
what
between
they're
two
what they're
people who
billing
do
it
know
as
each other.
what they're billing it as is that like Azumi's gotten the advantage over the past few years. So Azumi's
Mm,
kind of like, this is the last time I'm gonna have to beat you. And then it's gonna be clear that I am not like we're not in the same like we're no longer eternal foes. I am better than you. So Starlight Kid's gonna win. Um because of course she is. And yeah,
okay.
that's about it.
We then
Could be
have
good.
two
I,
other.
I'm sure it'll be good. I mean, it won't get too much time, which I prefer. I don't need to
Yeah.
see them going over 15 minutes again, because they just started
Oh
like doing
God, I
that.
remember that.
Um,
Remember the Starlight Kid high speed, Ryan? Dear Lord.
yeah. So yeah, I'm happy this will probably get like 10 minutes. It'll probably be a heater. It'll be fun.
All right, fun stuff. We have two Stardom shows with actual cards announced. This is like Christmas. Um, we have Konami, Amisori, and Rani Yagami taking on Unimon, Ayasakura, and Sayaka Kurara.
When and where
This,
is this?
this is on the 15th of June in Messe, Shizuoka.
Yeah, Shizuoka. Okay.
Yeah. Konami dub.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Young
Okay.
Angels, they're gonna die.
Yes. We then have a preview match that is Koguma versus Saya Ida. Saya might Idabashi for the
Yeah,
win.
I think Ida gets the win
Yeah.
there.
All right. Azuki versus Hanan in
I,
another preview match,
I think Hana
and
needs to get the win there.
she probably does. Yes.
She can get the 17.
Yeah. They do like to 50-50 before title matches, so
Yeah, and
can see
especially
it.
because I know Wingori isn't winning the goddess
Oh yeah,
belts.
yeah,
So it's like you can't just have them lose all three of their affairs. You know what I mean? Like you
yeah.
can't just have them lose all of them because they're respected to some degree.
I agree. Um, we have Mina Shirakawa versus May Sarah versus Rian. So somebody is pinning Rian. It doesn't matter too much who.
Probably Mina. Why didn't they just give Mina the month off? She's not doing anything. Just let her.
Oh my god. I saw the art. It's crazy.
Oh
That's
boy.
cool. We then have Mayu Iwatani and Momo Kogo versus Siri and Saki Kashima. I cannot wait for Saki to beat Komomo somehow.
Yeah. Maybe Mayu kicks out Momokogo. She said she was getting
Maybe.
tired of stars being so chill and cool. She was like, maybe I need to kick somebody out, and I think it's gonna be Momokogo.
Let's do it. We then have Maika, Xena, and Hanako versus Shiori, Ano, Tam Nakano, and Natsupoi. That is a Hanako loss, if I've ever seen one.
Yep. And
Oh,
also Micah and Xena beefing because yeah.
oh my goodness. Saya Kamatani, Lady C, and Miyu Hamasaki of Queen's Quest take on the Oedo Tai team, Natsuko Tora, Momonabe, and Tekla. Woo, yeah.
Man, if
Woo. So Azumi, Kid, Suzu, and Waka are not on this show. That's yeah. Thank you for that. Our next show to preview is on the 16th of June. It is in the Adriano Osaka Arena number 2.
ooh,
The opener is Miyu Amasaki versus Aya Sakura. I like
that could be
this. I
fun. That
like
could be fun.
this. Miyu is probably winning, but I like this.
Yeah,
We then have Mei Sarah versus Yuna Mizumori versus Rian. So that's another Rian loss.
Miss Sarah win probably.
Yeah. We then have Mina Shirakawa and Hanako taking on Saki Kashima and Ranna Yagami. Yeah, sure.
Oh, Mina's fine.
Um,
Mina probably beats
oh
Ron.
yeah, that's true. Mayu Iwatani and Momokogo again versus Shiori Ano and Sayaka
Ooh,
Kurara.
this is a match they can
Yeah.
win, maybe.
Uh, possibly, yeah.
We'll see.
Mayu does like to moonsault people lately.
Yeah.
Um, okay, let's see. Starlight Kid, Tam Nakano, and Natsupoi versus Siri, Konami, and Ami Sore.
Oh,
That's
this might
kind
be
of
where they
nice.
have the masks.
Oh my god, yes, probably. All
Because
right.
if we're correct, Starlight Kid probably joins up with Izumi uh
Yeah.
the week later or 2 weeks later. So
Hmm?
gotta get
Yeah,
this, out of the way sooner.
I like this. We God's Eye win?
No, I don't think
No?
God's Eye wins that. I think this is a
Oh,
draw.
oh, sweet Jesus! Don't kill my vibe, please.
Maybe like a Tam
I've been
over Ami
nice
thing.
about this show. Don't kill me like that.
But no, I don't think somebody's winning
Okay,
over
fair
Ami. I think it's
enough.
a draw.
Fair
I think it's a
enough.
draw.
Right, that's pretty bad. Our next match. Oh, sweet lord, Queen's Quest. Saya Kamatani, Asmi, and Lady C versus Oedo Tai. Natsuko Tora, Momo Nabe, and Tekla. All right. And our main event, which actually does look really fun, it's Maika, Hazuki, and Koguma, Fukuoka Triple Crazy versus Xena, Hanan, and Saya Ida.
The forbidden Fukuoka trio. That's sick.
Yeah, I expect the underdog trio to win
Oh, and
because
Hanan gets to hang out with a white person. She likes doing that.
okay, right.
A white girl for sure.
Xena probably wins this for her team because she hasn't got much against Maika. So
Yeah, no, I can see
yeah.
that.
All
Or
right.
but I could also see like Ida or like Hanan rolling up Koguma.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the challengers win.
Yeah. Um, so that's that for this week. Next week is actually really weird because there is a new blood, Stardom the Conversion. Stardom is on Bloodsport. They are taking part in Ice Ribbon. They're on the Atrocious Alliance show, and they're on Wave. So a lot happening next weekend. And then there's a CMLL Lucha Festival thing as well. So
Oh, and then the week after that, they have like 3 Corkins in a
Corkin.
row.
Yeah, Corkin. Oh, Corkin back to back? No,
Wait,
no,
no,
not back to back. No,
not yet.
Corkin, some other hall, Corkin again,
And then a Corkin again
and then Cross. Okay, so lots
after
happening with
Cross.
Stardom coming up. We also have Forbidden Door at some point eventually. I don't actually know when that is,
June
but obviously
25th,
there will be
so
Stardom representatives
or
on that.
29th.
In
Yeah,
yeah,
it's the 29th.
yeah, okay. 'Cause Stardom's in Cork on that day. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was that. Marigold next week will probably be pretty short because we won't have anything to review, and I don't think there's anything big the next week because Sumo Hall is a little bit away. So next week will probably be Stardom heavy because it's the conversion and a New Blood show. Um, so if you're more of a Stardom fan, next week is for you. Um, Yeah, that is
The next
everything.
2 weeks, I think,
Yeah,
because I
possibly.
think Marigold's on VOD for a bit.
It is, yeah, it's pretty painful. Um, yeah, Stardom's going to dominate the conversation. We will find a way to watch Mayu versus Tsukasa and review that the next week.
Mm.
Um, so I'll try and find out how to watch it so we can like explain on the show next week. But that is that. It's time to end the show because we've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in.
Stay
Stay
golden.
golden. Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe. You got
All
it.
right.